Hey guys, welcome back to Table 13. I'm your host, Susan Tung, and this is my co-host, Morgan Hircock. We are here to talk to you about restaurants, leadership, and all the fun stuff in between while sharing our own stories. Today, we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite conversation, tip culture. And I think it's a really important conversation to have because COVID changed a lot of things with how tips work and how we kind of are starting to question it more, and people are getting really exhausted from tipping.
Yeah.
But we deal with tip culture all the time, and I feel like we've cracked the code on what works
I think so. Yeah.
based off of our model. So we're going to share with you what we do.
So first, we're going to just give you a brief history lesson, if we could, of where tipping came from. And it'll track through the rest of the conversation as to why it's just a toxic thing that started. So tipping originally has some kind of shady roots. It was brought over from Europe, even though now most European countries don't even use tipping. So basically in the US and Canada, it caught on really hard after slavery was abolished. Employers used tipping as a way to avoid actually paying newly freed Black workers a proper wage, which is terrible. It became a legal loophole to shift the responsibility of paying workers onto the actual customer, not onto the owner or the employer. So from the start, it's always just been sketchy and a way to underpay people. And unfortunately, that is still the system that we are just using today, which is wild that it hasn't changed, considering it's basically just a slightly less terrible form of slavery.
Yeah, but it's wild to think it's so ingrained in our culture, though, right? There are restaurants that have tried to get away from tipping.
Yeah.
There is evidence of really big restaurateurs, people that are big names like Danny Meyer.
Yeah.
Like they tried to get rid of it and it didn't work. Like a lot of their staff left and whatnot. But also to change the culture of something is incredibly challenging.
Oh, totally. Especially something that's been around for so long. Like, it is so ingrained in us to tip that, even now when we get the, tip scream at Starbucks, we're like, oh, I feel bad if I don't tip you, even though
Yeah.
you're just making me a coffee that you poured from
Yeah.
an urn.
It makes no sense. And we'll get more into this with different concepts. You can be doing the same amount of work,
Yes.
but when the bill was $100 here versus a $20 bill, did the exact same amount of work.
Yeah.
And people get really defensive about it.
Yes.
I have a front of house background and I'm against tipping.
Yeah.
Having been that person that works in a bar and I cracked open a beer for someone and I'm making $2 to $5 off of just doing that action. I'm over here being like, this makes no sense. Why are we doing this? But you're back of house,
I'm
which
back
I think
of
it's
house,
fun
yeah.
that we can have this conversation.
Yeah. It's definitely, as a person who comes from the back of house, I hate tipping. And it makes a little bit more sense as to why I'm so against it. And the reason why I'm so against it is because it's always felt so disproportionate, the way that the tipping culture goes. So that actually nicely brings us into our second part here, which is who tipping actually hurts.
Mhm.
The biggest one I think that we can really talk about is the front of house versus back of house.
Mhm.
It really creates, I find, a hostile work environment.
Yeah.
You're constantly battling against the people that you're supposed to be on a team with because they're getting more of the share of
Sure.
the pay for the work, even though it's not even guaranteed pay. That's the worst part, is that you're fighting over something that the customer may or may not give you.
Yeah, dangling a carrot in front of you,
Yeah.
right? And we're all little, I don't know, rabbit animals.
Yeah,
Just
and we're just fighting for the piece
stupid.
of this stupid carrot that may or may not even happen. We may or may not even be able to get it.
Imagine if tips were not in the form of money and it was just in candy. Right now, how stupid do you look?
Exactly.
So for me, where I feel really passionate about it is having watched my parents with a Chinese restaurant. They were back of house, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Because they made the food. but they're slaving away. Like they're
Yeah.
working morning to night.
Yeah.
But then you've got these servers that are coming in, working their 4 to 5 hour shifts.
Yeah.
And making, you know what, I get it. Like people were saying the owner should make more money, blah, blah, blah. Yes. But at the same time, like when you break it down by hourly, the servers do make really good money. And we don't have to get into detail. But what really annoyed me was this one incident with my family when we took back over the Golden Wheel.
Yeah.
When we came back, I was still very new to building my own teams and like hiring. But my mom was like, we need to bring this lady on board. Like she's Chinese. So
Yeah.
my mom was like, she's Chinese. She's great. And it's like,
yeah. She'll get it.
yeah,
She'll
but
understand.
like, and she also had a history with Chinese food and whatever. And I just went along with it. I was like, you know what? We'll sit down with her for an interview and that's fine. My mom's reasoning for wanting to bring her on board was because she's Chinese, she can help out in the kitchen, but she applied
Sure.
for a serving position.
Okay, so she didn't even want to work in the kitchen.
No, she does not.
Yeah.
And I think that was one issue, right? The
Yeah.
expectations didn't really quite match up. But this lady, like when we sat in with the interview, my mom did mention a little bit, you might have to come in for a couple hours to maybe help me wrap some wontons or spring rolls or
Yeah.
whatever. And then she's kind of, well, okay. Like she wasn't very talkative, which was also annoying for
Yeah.
a friend of hers. She was like, oh yeah, okay, blah, blah, blah. And there were just so many times that my mom would call her in or like, she'd tell me to call her in. Hey, can you tell her to come at 2 o'clock instead of 4? And she can help me for a couple hours in the kitchen. Just a couple hours. Not,
Yeah, which
we're
is
not
like
asking
not
for much.
Yeah. Especially if you're just like wrapping wontons or like rolling spring rolls.
Sure,
Like that's
like
not
yeah.
hard.
But amazingly, she would never see the messages
No.
or answer her phone. And
Yeah.
come on, like we can read between the lines. But
Yeah.
my mom she just took it as it is. Like she never like took action on that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like she's intentionally not helpful to the operation.
Yeah.
And also personally agitated me because I'm like watching my mom work really hard and she could use a break. I might
Yeah.
even be like, hey, I want to take a 2-hour nap. Well, hopefully this girl can come in and like cover
Yeah.
for me for a bit. But nope, I'm not making my tips, so I'm not
Yeah.
going to come in and help. And like,
Exactly.
for me, from that personal standpoint, I hated that so much and I resented tipping over time because of things like that. So when I started my restaurant, it was like, I do not want that to be a factor. I don't want
Yeah.
someone to ever say, I don't want to work because there's a pay gap. I understand there's a pay gap. Like I get it. But there just shouldn't be a thing in the first place.
Yes. Yeah.
We should value people for their work. And also, I think it's annoying that like people are good in their areas, so they should be rewarded for their areas. You don't like doing front of house,
Yeah.
But
It's
you're-
not, yeah.
but you're good at back of house. So why shouldn't you be compensated for that? Likewise with like front of house, you can be
Yeah.
suited for front of house, but I think we should all equally benefit from it.
Yes.
And I think that's been the biggest issue is how can we work next to someone on the more open concept? So you've got a server standing next to a line cook. The server I hypothetically make $50 to $100 an hour.
Yeah.
And the line cook's making anywhere from $18 to $25 an hour.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. And then you factor in taxing and all that.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It sucks. And it's as a cook, especially in a place where you have, here's a little bit different because we don't have these things, but in a place where you have a hostess, a bartender, a food runner, and a busser, and that the server is the one who's making the entire tip when they only did like the smallest portion of that job. Like
Sure.
they didn't cook the food. They didn't run the food to the table.
Yeah.
They didn't make the drinks. They didn't even clear the table. And still somehow they're the ones getting tipped. And I think that the biggest problem with that, as from like a customer point of view, is that like they don't know that. Like customers don't know that they're like,
They don't know what your internal
Yeah.
systems are for
you're
giving.
just like, you're just being like, oh, the
Yeah.
food and the service was great, tip. But it's like, who is actually making sure that those things are working?
Sure.
Who's doing the whole piece of the job, not just a tiny piece of the job, and then getting all of the benefit from
Yeah.
that.
COVID really highlighted that issue though, right? Because
Oh,
everyone's
yeah.
all takeout. So then it's like you've got someone that's just like answering the phone, taking the
Yeah.
order, and it's like they're still making $50 to $100 an hour because during COVID, everyone's still tipping really
Yes.
generously.
Yeah.
But now it's why are we like, where's that money going?
Yeah.
Right?
Wait, why am you just answered the phone? Like you didn't cook the food. It's like, yes, you answered the phone. Yes, you punched the order in. Yes, you packed the bag. But like,
Now we're
you
questioning.
didn't the food wouldn't exist. That's the argument, right? Is that it's without the cooks, the food wouldn't exist. And it's like without the servers, the food wouldn't get to the tables. And I get that, but it needs to be more equal.
What I actually hate is when things get really granular with bigger operations, like you said, hostess and busser, and then you're like tipping out this, and it's like a freaking like math equation. At the end of the day, it's like, why are we making this so hard? There's just so much thought put into it, and then the server's constantly thinking, oh, all the people they have to pay out, and then they feel like they're losing out, but they still walk away with X amount of dollars.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's that like mental load of, oh, I still got to pay on this person and this person.
Yes.
And it's like not a good feeling. So I understand, like, it's all subjective. Literally, no one's happy in those situations.
No. It's like the server feels like they're getting gypped because they're just like, oh, I made this tip and now I have to give it away to everybody.
Yeah. Especially if someone didn't deserve it. Let's say you have a shitty busser.
Yeah.
Or the bartender
didn't clear the tables and then like you had to clear your own table. So this was your job. And now I'm still paying you out of like my money.
Yeah.
That's the thought process is, oh, I made this money and now I have to give my money to you.
Yes.
It's like putting the onus on the server to pay your employees. It's terrible and annoying for everyone involved.
From an ownership perspective, moving on, right?
Yeah.
From an ownership perspective, it makes staffing really hard. So again, this is why I changed the model when I got to start fresh.
Yeah.
Let's be very blunt. It is really hard to find an amazing line cook versus an amazing server. There is just supply and demand.
Yeah.
Like, I think it depends on different concepts, right? There's fine dining, so the level of service is a little bit different, and we don't have to get into that. But to find someone to do basic service, like for a casual restaurant, corporate, or like a mom and pop, the demands of customer service are not as high as a line cook who actually has to, use all the different equipment and be skilled in cooking different things, multitasking and prepping. And there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of physical labor.
Yes. Yeah.
As well.
Like you're doing just like a lot. Being like a line cook or like a kitchen guy or a prep cook or something like that in something like this, like a QSR or something like that, you're still doing the same amount of mental load as someone who's working in not maybe fine dining, but like more upscale dining, right? Like someone who's like working here is doing the same amount of mental load as someone who's working at like Boston Pizza and their menu's 10 times as big as ours and they have a full bar and a massive restaurant and like they're doing the same amount of mental load here. So
I think the other thing is I respect all the jobs. Like I think every position
totally
provides value in the service aspect. There's no one that is above anyone else.
No.
There's no job that you can't have you can't not have cook. You can't not have customer facing people.
Yeah.
You can't not have dishwashers. Like they are all important. And I think everyone just is suited for certain jobs, but they shouldn't be punished for doing the job they're good at.
Exactly. That is exactly it. Very well said.
It's like going in the highlight reel.
Yeah. Glenn is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Like he's literally a hero.
Yeah.
In the
I
restaurant.
feel like dishwasher in a lot of places are the heroes. Like
they are.
Glenn is,
Glenn is literally a superstar. He's the hero of this restaurant. And there's no reason why, just because he is our dishwasher prep guy, that he should be paid less than anyone else here. Because he literally makes it easier to work here for everybody.
Rashawn actually said to me, we had that conversation of, he's like, I never check the schedule because I like everyone I work with. I'm not, I don't care. Like I walk in, I don't care who's there.
Yeah.
Because I'm just happy to be here. And he's like, the only time I check the schedule is to see if Glenn is going to be there because Glenn just makes my life easier.
Exactly.
Which is like true. Because sometimes we don't always have a dishwasher if it's like a slower night. But he just feels so happy to like have Glenn on different levels.
Yeah, because it's just, I like Glenn. And also he makes my life so much easier.
Yeah, he's missed when he's not here.
Oh yeah, he's super missed when he's not here. And it's the same, that's the same at every place. There's always, just because you're like the person clearing the tables as like a busboy or bus person, like you should still be paid for doing your job because you're making other people's life easier.
Yeah, and that's also the job description that you've been given and you're excelling in it. So
Yeah.
it's and then again with this restaurant and me building this concept, I felt it was more important for everyone to do multiple jobs
Yeah.
and roles. And that's why we don't have a hostess. Like the servers greet people and they seat them. It's not hard because we're an open concept.
Yeah.
And we don't have people that we didn't just have someone that did takeout, but now we do because only on busier nights.
Yes.
And that's an entry level position. But like, it's just that idea of we can do more than one job. We don't need to break it down. Again, depends on the size of your concept and all that. So we have to take that into account. So let's talk about the alternative.
So I think, and this obviously the easiest alternative is just to not do tips at all
Sure.
and pay people
Sure.
appropriately.
In a perfect
world, the alternative is no tips, you pay your people properly, and you charge more for the items that you're selling.
Yeah.
That's in a perfect
And
world.
people keep arguing that. They're like, just charge more. It's not as easy as people think it is,
Yes,
right?
because as soon as you charge more, people are like, oh, why is my $10 sandwich now like $18?
Yeah.
Because we're actually just putting your tip into the food cost now.
Sure. And then they'll go to a cheaper place. And like,
Exactly.
again, I think this conversation's been, it's like you're going down the same rabbit hole as every other conversation.
So that is the easiest, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Extremely unachievable at this point,
I think
unless there's a tidal wave of change.
So I think the only way that could happen is if the government, people love government intervention.
Oh, yeah.
I think the only way that would happen is if the government one day was like, stop doing this.
Yeah, tipping doesn't exist anymore.
Tipping doesn't exist as of this date.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. And then every single restaurant and every single business just instantly overnight change their model.
Yeah.
Because that's how any policy gets changed, right? Minimum wage goes up. Okay, all of a sudden everyone is changing that.
Yeah.
And then the menu prices change. Actually, some people don't change their menu prices in accordance, but that's a different problem.
Yeah.
But if all of a sudden we got to pay people more money, then the menu pricing change. But it happens across the board. So in order for major change like that, literally the government has to be like,
exactly,
this is not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
The reality of that happening is not, because why would they get involved in?
They don't have any
incentive.
It's not a big enough issue. Like tipping culture is not
maybe to make more taxes.
Maybe to make more taxes. Sure. Because if you think about,
they have bigger fish to fry, right?
They're like, hey, our healthcare is all messed up. We should maybe focus on that instead of tipping culture.
Sure.
But I think that the model we have here works really well for this kind of service.
Yes.
I think that it could be adapted to larger restaurants.
I think so too, yeah.
And I think that as soon as it gets into fine dining, it gets hazy. Because fine dining is just a different beast. I do know, though, that there's a lot of fine dining places in Toronto specifically who now actually don't do tipping.
Yeah.
And they just pay their servers appropriately.
Which one are you thinking of?
Richmond Station.
Okay, I felt like you were going to say that.
Yeah, so they don't do tipping at all. We actually, the last time Addison and I went there, we tried to give them a tip and they were like, no, we won't take it.
Your money's no good here.
They literally were like, no, everything's built into the price. Like, we don't take tips. Yeah. Everything's built into the price, which is, I'm happy to pay for that great service.
So that's good. That works, because I feel like I wasn't totally aware that anyone in Toronto was successfully doing it.
Yeah, I think that Richmond Station is like, they're very like quietly the place that's doing it really well. Whereas like everyone who works there is within the same idea where they're like, we don't make tips, but we get paid well. Like everyone there gets paid really well. And I feel like all the servers and the cooks and stuff are like, they're like lifers. Like they're there for the long haul because they're
career.
Like, they're like, we get paid well. We get to do like really great service, really great food. And I think that is what makes it easier to make the change for people is the culture.
I will chime in and say I think that works for those kinds of places because the customers are accustomed to paying $100 a head,
100%.
$200 a night.
Yeah.
It's just easy. You just slap a price and the people that want to go there are going to pay, especially in Toronto and like that demographic. That works, right? Now, should we talk about our model?
Yeah.
How we do? So with our model here, and when I started this restaurant, I was I was like, I just want us to be even. I don't want people
Yeah.
to hate each other. I believe people should be rewarded based on how many hours they put in. We talk about people working crazy hours, but they're like not seeing like people that are on salary. You've been there, you work salary,
Yeah, you
and then
work
by the time
salary.
you
Yeah. It's like you're getting paid like $15 an hour
sure,
versus 20 or whatever
yeah.
because of how many hours you put in.
So I felt that if you're putting more hours than your coworker, you should be compensated more.
Yeah.
And also, you should be compensated on working the busier nights, like Fridays, Saturdays, because the tips are more and whatnot. Like you, so that should be what's the word I'm looking for? Correlated. Like there's a
Yes.
correlation between
Yes,
how
there
busy
should
it
be
is
a
and more you're
correlation
doing.
between those two things.
Yeah. So what we do here is we pool our tips by day, and then we split it based on the hours that you are clocked in. And then we keep a tip sheet where we write down the total tips for the day, and then how many hours that person worked, and then we break it down in an Excel spreadsheet where you can see how much each hour is worth,
Yep.
and then we divvy it out. The nice thing is I know 7 Shifts actually has that ability
Yes.
to split that, but because we have some little nuanced rules with regards to like prep and if you're opening or closing,
Yep.
it's hard for us to use that system. But there are systems out there that allow you to break it down by hour or by like a weighted scale kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the reality is with the owner, they need to decide what they value and what their goals are. You're basically choosing the problems that you're going to come into. If they're like, I'd rather just pay the cooks a really good wage and then the servers can duke it out, sure, but it's going to come with a different set of problems. We have a different, I will say, we don't really actually have a staffing problem because we never hard to find cooks for us because
No.
the tips, they actually get tipped out here. Equal tips here. We really don't have trouble finding servers because we have a system of training servers from the get-go.
Yep.
So we can take someone that has the right character and personality, and we can train them to be a great server. So yeah, we're not getting the pros that are used to making $50 to $100, $200
Yes.
a night. We're taking people that are newer and we're investing our time in making them really great servers, and they're happy to make more than minimum wage.
Yep.
Because it's still the best of both. Like they're
still making
still
more
winning
money. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
still making good money.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we don't need a lifer server who, like a professional server who's been serving fine dining or
50
places
years.
for 50 years or whatever. We don't need that here.
So yeah, again, it depends on the concept and
Exactly. Yeah.
what you're trying to do.
I think that what we have implemented here, I think it does work.
And so what are the signs of it working?
I think one of the biggest signs of it working is our employee retention.
Exactly.
Like it is very rare that our cooks leave.
Yeah.
If they leave, it's because they were asked to.
Yeah, pretty much. Or
Or they move on to something else.
something that's better, like
Something
a
that's better
manager
for them,
position.
which is totally fine. And that's going to happen. But like, we don't.
It's not
not
quite
like
a
a-
revolving door.
Yeah.
Yes, we do have turnover, but definitely way slower.
Oh, yeah. Way slower than it has been in every other place I've worked at.
Yeah.
And it's same with like servers. Like we have servers who come back.
Yeah.
We have servers who have jobs working in places where the tipping system is the same as it is everywhere else, and they still choose to work here.
And the camaraderie that you see here is, I think, unique and special compared to like locally. If you look at other places,
Yeah.
You've got our cooks because it's open concept. They're greeting the customers. They
Yep.
literally are like waving, "Hi, have a seat. Well, someone will be with you just a second if the server's busy."
Yeah.
The server's like cashing someone out and they can't greet them. Like we literally have people. I love when I see the cooks come out and bring them menus because it's good.
Oh, I know. Or like even some of our more like experienced cooks will run food for the servers. Some of the more experienced guys will answer the phones. There really is a sense of like we are all helping each other.
Yeah.
And I think that is also
And
a
Oh.
really good sign that it does work.
also, our front of house will never hesitate to do a back of house job.
Oh
If
God.
you just ask them, they'll do it, right?
Yeah.
The one day we had, when we were short staffed that one morning, Jordan, who's front of house, came and work back of house for a couple hours because we just needed to fill that
Yep.
spot.
Did some prep, was wrapping spring rolls. Like he did great.
Yeah.
And the servers will do those things. Like we used to have prep jobs that were specifically for the serving staff. We would for the shrimp for cold rolls, they would peel and slice them, or peeling spring roll wrappers, or
like the term "that's not my job" is just not a phrase here. And we really hammered that home with everyone from day one. What's time? Oh yeah, 20. I will also highlight or I will also tell just a quick story about how one of our servers, no need for names, who does work in another establishment where their tip system is like the old school tip where only their servers are making, and even the job responsibilities are disproportionate to how much they're making, and not a good way. But she was talking about how she was running around like a chicken with her head cut off in a good way because she's a rock star. Her coworker, who was clocking out in 15 minutes, was not helping her at all.
Yeah.
And then the kitchen was getting frustrated because no one's running food. And meanwhile, this person was like, we'll be in 15 minutes. Like, bro, help your team out.
Yeah. So you could run some plates.
Yeah. And then it's funny because this person that works for us, she's helpful to them because she's used to like working here, and if a table needs to be cleaned, she's gonna clean it. And they're like, "Oh my god, thank you so much for helping me." Which
it's all she did was clean your table.
Like she's just doing like a job. It's
right? Like
wild.
It's so funny coming from that and then coming here and seeing how much more of an effective team we are versus like in other places where like I have seen like full screaming matches between like back of house and front of house, or like the hatred and the resentment between the two teams is just like, how in the world are we supposed to work together? We like actively hate each other.
I know.
And like I think there's probably another gender part of it where, you know, most of the time there are guys working in the back and most of the time there are girls working in the front. And because I'm a woman working in the kitchen, I've always been really good friends with a lot of the servers. And that's just because of the way it is. And like, I have seen some of the like dudes that I've worked with be like actively and horribly mean to servers, specifically just because they're like, you make more money and you're just a stupid girl. And so like the difference between that and here, it's like stark opposites.
So opposite.
And it's refreshing.
Yeah.
And it's very nice to work in a place where it's not like, oh, I have to put out a fire because my insane cook over here is just screaming at the hostess, who's a 16-year-old girl who's just trying to like do her job. Because apparently she makes more money than him.
Yeah.
Which is stupid.
Yeah, but I feel like these are all systematic issues, right? Everyone like has a right to feel this way. It's like we've created these monsters.
Oh yeah,
like we
have adopted this system, and now we're
still going along with
dealing with the repercussions of that crappy system.
Yeah, I think for anyone listening that would like to implement and change their system, they're probably in their mind saying, this is impossible for me to implement because I already have existing staff.
Yeah.
But I definitely do have like ideas on how people can implement them. I think one idea is to like long-term tell your staff that you're planning on changing the model. Hey guys, 6 months from now, this is going to be changing.
Yeah.
It gives people like that frame of, do I want to stay? Do I not want to stay?
Yeah.
Whatever. And I think that's fine. But I think this also really is crucial for the owner to get really good at hiring, because you're going to have people jump ship, which is fine.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a good way to replace people, then you're going to be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
So I think this is something that can be implemented. It will just take a longer term. And he'll need to be on board with it. So I think back of house, you'll have no problem keeping people because all of a sudden they're making more money.
Yes, 100%.
So back of house are good. If you are struggling to hire back of house, you will have less trouble now because people are going to want to come work for you.
Yes, because they make
Your
more
servers
money. Yeah.
are probably going to leave. And that's going to be part of the challenge.
Yeah.
And now you need to replace your servers with people that are going to buy into the model of, hey, we all work together. This is what we're working on. Right now, this is the tip system, but as of December 1st, it's going to be this.
Yeah.
And they have to be okay with that. Yeah, it's not easy, but I think it's very doable.
Yeah.
But I think the payoff is amazing. Like, I think it's good for the industry. I think it's good for the business. It's good for the people working here. Like, it sucks. Like, for you to grind out and make less than certain people
Yeah.
is, not great.
It sucks. And I think this also, it actually is funny. This actually touches back on one of our other podcasts about like young people wanting to work. And that is one of their caveats for working too, right? Is like they want to be treated right. And I think that you'll be able to find younger, maybe less experienced people, but if you're willing to put in the time to train them, they'll buy into the idea because you're treating them better.
Yeah.
And that's something that's really important to the younger generation.
Yeah,
is that
not
they're
getting
being
screamed at.
Yeah, they're being treated well. Yeah, I think that it is possible to change. I think that the biggest thing that owners have to focus on is full transparency with it. You have to be like open, transparent, and be like,
we need to have a conversation about it.
you just have to talk about it. It's not scary. If someone gets like really upset and upfront and aggressive about it, it's okay. Why are you so upset about it?
Yeah.
Like, I can see servers being upset because it feels like you're taking money out of their pocket.
Sure. I get it.
I get it.
I get that too.
Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But that's why it has to be a slow progression. And that's why it has to be, like you said, like it has to be a like, okay, if you have servers jump ship, then you need to be able to hire people who are on board with the idea, right?
Yeah. And I will just say we are literally a testament to it working. And other places do too. We're not the only ones. We didn't reinvent the wheel.
No.
But other places have also just been like, this doesn't make sense. Let's change it. And they have. And I've never heard of anyone, not that I'm actively seeking, but maybe if anyone's listening and they know anyone, I've never heard of anyone having to go from this model of sharing it equally and hourly going backwards. I've never heard of anyone doing that.
I've never heard of someone doing that.
So anyway, let's put that out there. So if you are listening and you want to chime in or you're curious about how to change the tip model in your business, or if you just want to chat with us or you have questions, then reach out.
Yeah. Would you support no tipping model if it meant you were treating your employees better? I would. We do.
But we're not getting rid of tipping anytime soon.
Yep.
We're going to pick the...
Yep. We're going to pick the alternative of still tipping, but dividing it equally.
Yes. Okay, that's all for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Table 13. We love hearing from you. Yeah, send me a DM at Susan Tung. And we hope to see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.